For this week's SMTV News, the removal of a coach that had major influence over USM's football team has taken Southern Miss athletics by storm. Stay here to find out more.
Also coming up, even though homecoming at USM is over, we have a recap of one of the most exciting events that took place on campus during the week. That's right, the NPHC Step Show.
All of this and more on SMTV. SMTV News for Thursday, October 24th starts now.
From the Chuck Scarborough Television Studio on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi, this is SMTV News. News you can use.
What's going on, USM community? I'm Bethal Miles here in my fall colors.
And I'm in my breast cancer awareness pink. I'm Kennedi Drake, and here are our top news stories for today. The day after USM's homecoming game, Will Hall was relieved of his position as head coach for the Golden Eagles. Devin Whitson has more on the topic.
After 4 seasons, Will Hall has been fired as the head coach of the Golden Eagles.
As you know, we decided yesterday to make a change, leadership of our football program.
Following a 44-28 loss against Arkansas State, Hall's tenure ended with a record of 14 wins and 30 losses, with a notable achievement during his tenure being the 2022 Landing Tree Bowl win against Rice.
Unfortunately, we just couldn't get it turned on the field and couldn't get over the hump, and that's why we're sitting here today, and that's kind of the way this works. And so, but I do appreciate his work, thankful for everything he's given to this program, and we certainly want nothing but, the best for him moving forward.
As Hall departs from the program, assistant head coach and general manager Reed Stringer will serve as the interim head coach for the remainder of the season, whilst McClain will begin the search for the program's next head coach. The Golden Eagles are set to take on James Madison this Saturday in Harrisonburg, Virginia. This has been Devin Whitson for SMTV Sports.
And see, Ken, I like Will Hall as a guy, right, as a man. Every time a player gets injured, every time anything happens, he's the first one on scene. But we are 1-6 through more than halfway through the season.
Yes, I attend every game, and it seems like we just can't win. We can't get touchdowns too much, so I hate to hear it, but it seems like he's a little weak on that department.
It's okay. Hey, Coach Hall, we appreciate everything that you've done, and we also appreciate even the other things that you haven't. We'll dive into some other things right now. The annual South Mississippi Fair kicked off last week in Jones County. One of my favorites, SM2 Suvi Lama, has more on the story.
This year, the South Mississippi Fair is celebrating its 104th edition. It is being held at Magnolia Center from October 18 to 26, and the fair features rides, food, and agricultural exhibits.
I've been coming to the South Mississippi Fair for years. Even when I was a kid, I came here. When I was in high school, I came here. Now that I'm in college, I still come here. It's such an institution, and I always love being able to experience it.
The fair's agricultural roots remain strong. Traditional events like petting zoos, pig races, and nightly concerts continue to be part of the fair's schedule.
I've been working here for 3 years now, and I find it very enjoyable. Seeing everybody, seeing all the laughs, seeing all the smiles, and just being here with everybody fellowship.
Despite a shooting incident on the 19th, the South Mississippi Fair is continuing its regular operations until the 26th. For more information about the fair, visit somissfair.com. This is Suvi Lama for SM2.
Career Services at Southern Miss hosted a career fair designed with the intention of providing students with connections to potential future employers. The fair took place on October 22nd and featured 7 different companies. SMT, Cintas, and Howard were some of the companies that were present at the fair. Multiple USM alumni were at the fair, providing that USM enables students for their future jobs. Cintas representative says that the companies present aren't just a job, but rather a potential career for your future. For any questions pertaining to careers, jobs, internships, and even graduate school, you can contact Career Services at career.services@usm.edu or stop by room 203 in Cook Library.
Now, as part of Homecoming Week, the National Panhellenic Council at USM held a step show in the Bennett Auditorium. The NPHC is known for hosting step shows every year for fraternities and sororities. They give them a little bit of time to prepare for a theme-style performance with choreography. This year's winners for the sorority side were the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta with their Charlie's Angels theme. Now, for the fraternities on the men's side, it was the other side of 1911, Kappa Alpha Psi, who managed to come away with their win for a drumline themed performance.
Coming up after the commercial break, we have our SMTV weather report and flash news briefing.
That's right. Stay tuned. Go get your popcorn. Go ahead. Go to the bathroom. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to SMTV. I'm Rachel Brox, your SMTV weather reporter. Now, we're going to start off with today's temperatures. So for today, as you can see, the high will be at 88 degrees and the low will be at 55. There's only a 1% chance of rain and we will have clear skies. Now onto the rest of this week's forecast. As you can see, starting off on Thursday, the high is going to be at 88 degrees and at 55. Same thing for Friday. Clear sunny skies, okay? So don't worry about rain. On Saturday, the high is going to stay at 88 degrees with the 58 degrees. For Saturday, the high is going to stay at 88 degrees and the low will drop down to 58. Now for Sunday, like I said previously, the high will be at 88 degrees, but then it'll also drop down just a little bit to 56 degrees. Now to round us out, on Monday, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies with 86 degrees for the high, and as well, it's going to go down to 59 degrees as the low. Now let's move on to our rain chances. Now, as you can see, it's going to be a pretty sunny week. The rain chances are very low. It's going to be all below 10% except for Monday. It's going to jump up to 15%, so you might need an umbrella that day. Thank you so much for joining me for your SMTV weather report. I'm Rachel Brox. Now back to Kennedi and Bethal.
Thank you so much for that, Rachel. Kennedi, Rachel has really grown in these past couple of times, hasn't she?
Yes, she has. She's looking like a professional meteorologist.
And folks, that's what happens when you put that work in.
Right, and now it's time for your flash news briefing. Two teens are denied bond after a shooting at the Laurel County Fair Saturday night. Officers say one teen was charged with attempted murder and possession of a stolen firearm, while the other faces an attempted murder charge. During the crime, a victim was shot twice in the upper thigh. The court said their bond was denied because of the threat to the community, and the two were considered a risk flight. The investigation is ongoing, and more updates will be provided in due time.
Now, in state news, another senseless 3 people were killed and 8 others injured in a mass shooting after a homecoming game in Lexington, Mississippi. Earlier Saturday morning, according to the local sheriff, 2 19-year-olds and a 25-year-old were killed in the incident. The shooting occurred at a party after the Holmes County Schools homecoming celebration. The local sheriff says the incident marks the 2nd weekend in a row of a mass shooting following homecoming festivities.
The Israeli military strikes banks in Lebanon to target their political parties' financial networks. The move sparks panic in Lebanon as tensions soar in the region. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken plans to head to the Middle East to push an end to the conflict. His visit follows the recent killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar in northern Gaza. Israel's attack led to outrage amongst civilians. The United Nations say the situation for citizens is unbearable.
Now, I just have to say, and it may not be my place to, but I'm really getting tired of seeing these senseless mass shootings all happening all over the world for no reason. It's killing me, Cam.
Yes, it is. And I think in America it happens the most. It's not like this in any other country.
Yep. Well, next up, we still have SM2 Sports and Community Calendar.
Don't go anywhere. SMTV will be right back after the commercial break.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you.
What are you going to wish for, Grandpa?
Don't just wish you had taken care of your hearing loss. Take action today. Visit ActNow on hearing.com to learn the signs and find an ASHA-certified audio.
It may sound funny, but hearing actually happens in our brains, not our ears. Our ears are like mail carriers that deliver sound, so our brains can figure out what's going on. So what is going on? Well, it's pretty simple. When our ears work better, our brains hear better. And that's a happier thing. Like Happy Dance Happier.
Hearing loss puts you at greater risk for dementia. So see a hearing professional and let's get those ears checked.
High THC products can cause cannabis-induced psychosis and come with increased risks of suicidal thoughts, planning, and attempts.
Just Say No, KNOW. Go to justsayno.org today for the facts.
Hello and welcome back to SMTV. I'm Emily Blue and I'm here with this week's community calendar. Today starts day 1 of the Homegrown Revival Music Festival. The festival is 3 days long and camping out for the festival is encouraged. Artists such as Grits and Greens, Honey Island Swamp Band, Johnny Sketch, and the Dirty Notes will be featured as well as art productions. Tickets can be bought at homegrownrevival.org. Keg and Barrel is hosting a Halloween-themed bike pub crawl tonight. Bring your costume and join others for a bar crawl. More Halloween-themed events are showing up in Hattiesburg this weekend. Next for the weekend is the Boozeum that will be featured at the African American Military Museum. Dress up and head to the Boozeum on October 25th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Admission is $3 for children and $5 for adults. There is food, a costume contest, spooky decor, fun games, and a trick-or-treat. Once again, the Lucky Rabbit is featuring their spooky shopping, food, and costume party every Friday this October. If you haven't made it out yet, you should definitely go this week. The Cattiesburg Cat Cafe is hosting Yoga with Cats on Sunday at 6 p.m. Admission is $20 and to purchase tickets, go to cattiesburgcafe.com/events. Also, every Wednesday, admission into the Cat Cafe is half off with a valid student ID. That's it for your community calendar update with me, Emily Blue. See you next time, Southern Miss. This week's SMTV Trivia has a special spooky twist. Now let's take it to the students of USM.
Fruit.
Oh God. Fruit?
Vegetable.
They definitely have seeds. They're fruit.
They have seeds, so that will make them a fruit, right?
Vegetable. It has seeds, so I'd say it's a fruit.
On pet?
A year.
Like a grand?
3 million.
Oh gosh. $500,000?
2.5 million.
5 million. It's in the millions. Probably like 10. Screen.
Most popular? A minion.
Was it like a movie or Barbie?
Probably Spider-Man. No? Batman?
I don't know. I can't think. Oh, Barbie. 2023. That was last year. What was everybody last year? Barbie? Probably Wonder Woman.
I'm not just not.
We're gonna be the Migos.
Yep. Probably Spider-Man.
I'm gonna be a cheetah. Poison Ivy.
Good afternoon, Golden Eagles. I am your SMTV sports anchor, Gabe Calhoun, and we have an action-packed sports segment for you. Let's get right into it. Starting off with football, as you guys have heard from Kennedy, Will Hall is no longer with us, but he had one more game with the Golden Eagles. The Golden Eagles came into the game 1-5, looking to get a much-needed conference win on homecoming against the Arkansas State Red Wolves. The Golden Eagles lost more than a coach that day as they fell 28-24 to the Red Wolves. The Golden Eagles offense came to play though, as they arguably had their best showing of the year, scoring 28 points on the offensive side of the ball. Ethan Crawford, Kenyon Clay, and Jalen Williams all found the crib. Now over to the pitch. Our ladies will show great appreciation this week for Senior Day. And they showed great appreciation right back, winning 2-0. Adira Nakano was one of the seniors highlighted, and she sure showed why, netting both of the goals in her 50th career start. Nakano found the back of the net in the 20th and the 61st minute of the match. The Lady Golden Eagles will have their last conference match today against the Raging Cajuns at 3 o'clock. The game will be streamed on ESPN Plus for those who cannot attend. Digging in volleyball, our Lady Golden Eagles stayed home this past weekend to play the school down the road. The Lady Golden Eagles had a tough time losing both games 3-1, or 3 sets to 1, I'm sorry. But they look to bounce back against Old Dominion this Thursday and Friday at the Southern Miss Wellness Center. On to the player of the week. It was none other than Adira Nakano with her 2-goal effort in what was our first conference win for soccer. Way to go, Adira. Keep it up. That has been all. I'm Gabe Calhoun as normal, and we'll see you next time.
Deciding who to vote for is important. There are people, organizations, and foreign adversaries trying to trip us up, manipulate our views, and redirect or even discourage our vote. Whether it's bogus claims designed to stop us from voting or convincing digital fakes trying to sway our opinions, we all need to double-check our facts. Watch out for phrases that frequently accompany political disinformation like "make this go viral" or conspiratorial statements like "the media won't cover this." It's your vote, not theirs. Use it wisely. Be informed, not misled. I
am so sorry I was late. I was at the retina specialist getting my first AMD treatment. I was worried that the injection would hurt, but it was much better than I expected.
Did you go to the same retina specialist that I see for my diabetic retinopathy?
Yes, and I am so glad I didn't wait.
When your vision is at risk from retinal disease, you need the expertise of a retina specialist. If you experience blurred central vision, a curtain-like shadow in your vision, floaters, flashing lights, or wavy lines, see a retina specialist.
Thank you guys so much for all that information. We got something new that we're about to throw at you, Eagle Interview.
This week's episode is hosted by our very own Micah Gibbs.
Welcome to Eagle Interview. I'm your host, Micah Gibbs, and I am here with the director of the Student Media Center. I am also here with an author, a man who's experienced in television, news, broadcast, anything you can name it, he's done it. I'm here with Dr. Jason Beverly. How you doing today, Dr. Beverly?
I'm doing good, Mr. Gibbs. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing great, man. Always a pleasure to be, interviewing one of my mentors in the student media game. So, speaking of student media, can you tell me a little about the Student Media Center and what it's all about?
Yeah, the Student Media Center, we are the voice of the USM community. We are built on 5 different divisions. We have the Student Prince newspaper, which is our oldest division, dating back to 1927. Then we have WUSM Radio, our second oldest division, dating back to 1954. And then we have what is called the Creative Division, which focuses on commercial production, live streaming, graphics, things like that. Then we have Stratcom, which focuses on strategic communication, advertising, sales, public relations, things like that. And one of our newest divisions is going to be SMTV. SMTV, each week we put on a weekly newscast featuring a different news, events going around in Hattiesburg as well as the college community.
Of course, of course. And now, on to you a little bit. We know that you're an author. The fans may not know this, but I know this. You're an author. So tell me about your journey through, being an author and writing books and stuff.
Well, Micah, I often like to call it writing my own life story, in a sense. For me, my journey to becoming an author started when I was a young kid. During that time, people often said, "Oh man, you'll become a thug or a statistic. You'll amount to nothing." And so I never understood why they said those things about me, but they did, and it was by people I loved, people I respected. And so I looked at that as them trying to write my life story. And so what I did at a very young age, I took away that metaphorical pen and paper from them, and I set out to write my own life story. And so it just so happened that the bond that I shared with my sister, who was an avid book reader, that just so happened to play a chapter in my life story. And so my journey to becoming an author started out in high school when I started writing for the high school newspaper at Hattiesburg High School. After graduating from there, I went to the University of Southern Mississippi here and majored in journalism and wrote for the Student Prince newspaper. And after graduating from Southern Miss with my bachelor's, I went to work for a small newspaper on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And one of my first assignments was to tour some new exhibits at Beauvoir, which is the historic home of former Confederate President Jefferson Davis. I had driven by that place a million times, but I never in a million years imagined that I would step foot on that property. And so I remember the first time going there, as I'm walking around, touring the place, touring the exhibits with all the other media members, all these different ideas and thoughts just started overwhelming me. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I knew I had to get those feelings out. And so when I got home that same day, I started writing a manuscript for my first book, The Ghost of Beauvoir. And after that book, I went on to publish several more books. And all of my books are based somewhere in Mississippi. And I do that intentional because I like to show people where Mississippi once was, where it currently stands, and its future prognosis.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a quick insight into my journey.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And for the people that don't know, you know, if you go in his office, you know, he gonna display them books now. He gonna show off his hardware.
Right.
Which I don't blame him though.
Right.
But for somebody like you, you know, a lot of students would love the opportunity to learn from you and be able to work for you and with you. So how do students get involved with SM2?
Well, in SM2, shoot me a quick email. Let me know what you want to get involved in. Occasionally we have paid positions where students can come and actually do work and get paid for it. But a lot of our students are volunteers. You know, they volunteers because they bought into knowing and realizing what they need to do to be successful. And so they come in and say, hey, I want to get plugged in somehow. You know, and we let them tour different areas of SM2, and then we finally get them plugged into that area that we think that they're going to be successful in.
Okay, well, that's great. That's great. Great talk with a great man. I appreciate this opportunity to sit down and talk to you. That's all we have for you here at Eagle Interview. I'm your host, Micah Gibbs, and until next time.
Man, Kennedy, can you believe they interviewed the very own Southern Mrs. Dr. B, man, Mr. Drop You Off?
Yes, I can. Dr. B is very talented. He's an awesome writer. You know, he has a new book out.
Can you talk to me about it? Because he gave me a copy. I haven't opened it just yet, but what do you know about it?
Well, the book is about a young family. They experienced some paranormal activity in Mississippi.
Have you ever experienced any type of like paranormal or ghostly type vibes here in Hattiesburg?
Not in Hattiesburg, but I would say maybe spiritual activity.
Hey, man. Listen, we'll dive into something a little next, our entertainment series.
Welcome to SMTV Cinema.
Our upcoming release highlight is for the anti-romantic comedy horror by the name of Your Monster. It stars Tommy Dewey and Melissa Vieira as the main characters, Monster and Lyra Franco. The film, directed by Caroline Lindy, is releasing this Friday, October the 25th, and it's about a young actress finding her way through a cancer diagnosis and an upsetting breakup when she discovers a scary but charming monster in her closet.
Next, we would like to recommend a movie that was released last month on September 27th, The Wild Robot. This animated movie follows the adventures and journeys of a lost robot who accidentally becomes the caretaker of a young gosling. This movie is based off Peter Brown's book by the same name. Many reviews of the movie put the animation and art style in good light. The movie was directed by Chris Sanders and stars the voices of Pedro Pascal, Lupita Lumongo, and Kit Connor, just to name a few. The film is still currently in theaters, so don't miss your chance to see it before it's gone. That's all for SMTV Cinema.
Until our next screening, we'll see you later. Well, we are at the end of the show. Kennedy, for me at least, being here as an anchor, getting ready to graduate, it has been a pleasure seeing everybody grow. I'm talking about Gabe, I'm talking about Emily Blue. My dog Rachel is, like you said, a professional meteorologist. What you thinking?
Yes, everyone has grown so much, and I think everyone's going to be amazing in this field.
Yep, absolutely. And next episode, we're going to have something spooktacular coming your way. But for right now, thank you guys so much for watching SMTV. Make sure to visit our social media pages, like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Southern Miss Student Media. If you would like to submit a news tip, you can email us at sm2news@usm.edu. Also, if you would like to advertise with SM2 Media, please reach out to Jason Beverly at jason.beverly@usm.edu. You can find all the stories that you've seen this week, last week, and this upcoming spooktacular week right there.
Always remember, Southern Miss
to the top.